Joining us this morning is the Executive Director of the Titusville YWCA. We have Ashleigh English. Morning, Ashleigh. How are you?
Morning.
Good
Real
to see you
good.
this morning.
Morning.
Boy, it seemed like last time we spoke, just getting ready for a big summer, and now it's half or more over.
It is, and we've been busy. We've been busy. So we've had great turnout. Like I said, YW with United Way and generosity of some local sponsors have had the high school swimming pool opened in the afternoon.
That's great.
Getting anywhere between 50 and 100 swimmers, depending on how hot it is this week. I assume we'll be pretty busy. We're doing that for one more week, and then I know the school's got some maintenance they want to do before the new school year starts, and we start having trouble with guards are going off to school and starting fall sports. So it will wrap up. Next week's the end of the swims for us. But so far, it's been really a great turnout, and we're happy that kids have some place to cool off a few days a week in the summer.
That's great, and thanks for making sure that is offered in the summer.
Yeah, that's happening.
Yeah.
I'm there as the adult this afternoon, and I'm kind of like, oh, it's going to be so hot. I did bring my swimsuit, though. I thought I might have to jump in.
You might have to
occasion.
get in there.
Yeah, I might have to. But we've had a lot going on, so we're... We've been doing a girls' book club. We've had cooking classes. We've been doing crafts. Just lots of little activities. Fun Factory's always busy. Just lots going on. And then we'll start switching over and getting ready for what's coming up in the fall. So.
Wow, that's incredible.
That can't happen. That can't be.
It is. It's weird as we start thinking, our fall schedule and what's going on. I will say tomorrow night, we are hosting the movie night, the Friday night movie night.
Cool.
So that will be in the YW yard.
Oh.
We have cotton candy for anybody. Bring a blanket, bring a chair. That's with the Titusville Council on the Arts. And we're going to be showing Sing 2, which I have not seen yet. So I'm excited to see that. And kind of, I think, just sort of moving things around. You know, they did the one up on the Heights, and they've had, I think, a couple down at Ed Meyer. This one just for people that might have some transportation issues, things like that. Have one in town there, and so we're excited to be hosting that tomorrow night.
That's wonderful. And people can just show up and
They
bring
just
lawn
show
chairs.
up, bring a chair, bring a blanket, and just, hang out on the lawn, and the movie will start at dusk, which I'm guessing is around 9 or so.
Okay. Some of the classes being offered, you have Science Day coming up, Paint on Canvas, and folks can have it till tomorrow to sign up for, at least for the Science Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the big thing with us with sign-ups, we never want to turn anybody away, but, there's a difference if we're having 5 kids or 15 kids, and how many helpers do we need, how much supplies do we need. So that's why we really ask for people to pre-register. It just helps us plan. You don't have to prepay.
Sure.
But if you just shoot me an email or a message on Facebook, or that just really helps us to know, is it something we only have a handful, so I'm going to do the class myself, or maybe I need to get some teen helpers in there with me.
All right. So there's still plenty to do between now and the start of the school year.
I think we still have some things going, and we are starting our registration for our traditional cheer program that we do every fall. It's going to be a little different this year because youth football is going to be a little different this year. But I think we'll still have an absolutely amazing time. And we've added little cheerleaders. So usually it's a 4th, 5th, and 6th grade program. They'll be separated. They're not going to be there at the same time. But we're going to do K-5 through 3rd grade. Also, we plan to go down and check out the flag football that will happen. Those games are on Thursday nights. We'll take our cheerleaders down for flag football.
Nice.
Excellent.
We'll hit some youth football games. And then we're looking at maybe we'll hit a cross-country meet or be at a soccer game or just something like that, just to get the kids being active, having fun, doing, that rocket spirit kind of thing.
Yeah,
So.
and that's a big program that's been around for a long time.
It has
has.
been. It has been. It's been around for a while, and we want to make sure that it continues. And we were kind of concerned when youth football was changing because they're going to be doing some traveling. We're only going to travel to one out of town But we'll still have a lot for the girls and boys. Boys could still cheer.
Sure.
We'll still have a lot for them to do, keep them busy, have fun, be active.
Do you think there was a greater appreciation during the fall season 2 years back when those elements that made a Friday night disappeared, like the cheerleaders, the band, and it's just basically football players and some fans? Do you think people thought to themselves, wow, having the band, having the cheerleaders, it's all important to have that on?
Oh, it's the whole package.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. If, to go, and I even know when we go to away, I'm going to be empty nesting this year, so I won't necessarily be traveling to all the away football games. But, when the Rocket Band wasn't there, maybe the band didn't travel with the team, or those COVID years and things like that. It was like, really miss the band, and you miss the cheerleaders, and it is. It's the whole show, If you don't
the
have
pageantry of it.
If you don't have the whole thing going on, that's it's kind of a bummer there.
Yeah, it is.
So, is there a lot of discussion on planning for fall events, or are those things pretty much wrapped up and just waiting for the calendar
we're still
to change?
discussing different things that we plan to be doing, and like I said, we'll have activities that will get going. Fall's hard, fall. We do our cheer program. I don't do a ton of other stuff because kids are playing the rec soccer program, which is so very popular. We've got flag football for little folks. We've got youth football. Fall is just so crazy busy that we start more of our like after school kind of stuff, more into like late October. Is when we really, we do cheer, and that's kind of our focus in the fall, and then we move on. But we will be doing Fall Fest. We haven't set a date yet, but that's always a great event, and a lot of times you come and help us out with music,
it's so much fun.
or you send your boys over, and the weather makes a total difference in how that event works out. But so we haven't set the date yet, but we'll definitely be doing Fall Fest. And looking too at some different programming for adults. We can always help you out if you're looking to maybe quit use of tobacco, whether it's vaping or cigarettes, or we work closely with the Northwest Pennsylvania Cessation Program, and so we can help you out there. Working with the United Way about some programs we can do with budgeting and counseling, and really understanding kind of how to navigate that I'm going to say that middle class world. And so Stacy and I are working together to get some things going for that. And I always say too, I'm always open to, if somebody's got an idea and wants to partner on something and make it happen, give me a call.
Well, it happens all the time. You're very open, and you got such a great facility for hosting, for putting on events. There's really a lot that you offer to the community, and that's part of it too, right, Ashleigh? The community outreach and the partnerships you have with, you mentioned United Way. You go to your Facebook page, you're quick to promote the St. James Soup Kitchen open, and there's all these things that the Y, the events that you host, and then the things that you're part of.
I think our community is really good at we partner, because no one can do it all on their own. So when we partner together with the other organizations, we just make things better. So, last year's campaign for United Way was Better Together, and it absolutely is. We're all pretty much small, staff. I have 4 full-time employees at the YW. We can't do it all on our own. Associated Charities, United Way, the Arts Council, there's gazillions, but we're all running on pretty small staff and shoestring budgets. So when we put things together and we partner up, we can make some pretty amazing things happen.
Yeah.
Well, with the cost of everything, we might be able to just afford the shoelaces for the kids this year.
Yeah, that might just help.
It's something, yeah.
Right.
Well, speaking of kids, Fun Factory, filled up for the fall, or is there still
there might
room?
be a couple slots left, but not many. So Fun Factory's pretty full. I did want to talk a minute. It was late June. We celebrated Play Like a Girl, and that was to celebrate the 50th of Title IX. Yeah. And we had about 26 or so girls show up between the ages of 9 and 17. and we had a kickball tournament or kickball games at the Ed Meyer complex, and it was just the neatest feel-good experience to see these girls. They were supportive of, they were competitive. They were absolutely competitive, but they were supportive of one another. They were just wanting to play. They wanted to win. But again, we had lots of different girls with different abilities, different ages. And it was just a really great, heartwarming thing to see girls playing with girls and the interactions. And we ended up our night with some tug of war, which was a lot of fun too. And just it was a really nice event and something I hope we can do on a more regular basis. The biggest trick for me is when you're dealing with high school kids is catching them when they're in between seasons, you know, because busy kids are busy kids. You know, they move from one thing to another, and we've got some great young women at THS right now, and young men, but right now I know more of the girls. But they're busy. So they help me out a lot with promoting some of the different activities we want to do, and they're role models to our younger girls. So I really want them to be there. But finding times when they can fit me into their schedule can be a little tricky too. So
you're watching the Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Ashleigh English with us from the Titusville YWCA. Something like that, Ashleigh. Did you get a lot of feedback from the girls? Did they say, "Hey, we like doing this," or do you like exposing them to things maybe they haven't tried before?
They liked it. They had some suggestions, two of different things they like to. And I'm mom of 3 boys, so I love boys. Don't get me wrong, but they were like, it's really neat not having it's just us.
Yeah.
That it was nice. Just us. That that like I said, they cheered for the other. It was competitive, but it wasn't. Wait a minute, that's a foul.
Right.
There's a different dynamic in there when it just becomes, we did a kickball tournament at the end of the school year, which was great. We had a lot of boys that played. The majority of the kids that played were boys, and they were great, but it was a very different dynamic on the field of how, you didn't get hit, or it was just a very different experience for us. But the girls really they liked it, and I think there's something very valuable with girls sports and girls competing with girls. And like I said, I definitely, I've done my share of football games, wrestling matches, all those things. I support activities for all gender, but it was neat.
I think it's fascinating, even our progression throughout the year covering sports, and you just think of some of the top athletes, and we see it in volleyball, we see it in swimming, cross country, track and field. I mean, absolutely, there's some really talented individuals. So just a different dynamic, just seeing them kind of grow.
It's just a different dynamic of how, and I think their comfort level, they'll go out and give it their all and not worry. They don't feel like they have to stand in the background and I'll let the boy catch that ball, or we had one collision that they both went for the ball, and I mean, they took each other out. It was, so like I said, it was competitive. They wanted to win, but they were at the forefront, and it was a nice experience watching that.
This could be a whole different discussion, but I've seen different people on Facebook post things like, I don't know why we put so much emphasis in sports, but here's an example, Ashleigh, where sports can help you with that, right? With that mentality of, I can do this. I can be competitive. This can be fun, but it also goes beyond sports, right? So you take that and you want folks to go out in life and to be that way, where I can do that job. I should get that promotion. I should, and
it takes a lot of work to do that. It takes a lot of work to do that. I think one of the things that I always think about, because I was active in sports in high school, I didn't go on at a collegiate level or anything, but it was being part of that team.
Yep.
It was the responsibility of I've got to be at practice. It was being accountable and,
Yes.
didn't want to let my teammates down. I'm a part of something bigger
Mm-hmm.
than me. And, I really don't remember what my fastest mile time was. I don't remember how fast I swam the 400, and I'm sure nobody else does either. But the impact that participating in those events has had on my
yes.
life is huge. And I think the same thing, I've said to my kids, because they were all active in sports, nobody's going to remember how many tackles you had. Nobody's
Right.
going to remember how many pins you got on the mat. But the experience and the impact that's going to have on your life will be forever.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget Lodge's defensive touchdown, though. This past
Yeah,
year.
that one I will remember that, and I think he will too. When you
He'll remember
when you
that?
have 280 pounds running down the field with the ball, yeah, that one you remember. But so that one, but I think and not just sports, it's being involved in whether you're in the band, whether
Yeah.
you're in theater, whether you're in journalism, it's getting out there and being part of something
Yep.
for kids that I think is so very important. Because, sports isn't for everybody, and I respect that. But finding your thing, and maybe it's, I love that they're doing the, what do they call where they shoot skeet?
Oh, yeah.
Because we have a lot of, or I'll see kids posting pictures of the fish they caught. It's like
Yeah.
being passionate about something in your life that you love, that you really care about and want to do. And so, like I said, it doesn't, we've got an amazing art program, and like I said, our theater and our
Yeah.
band, and just get out there and be a part of it. And that's one of the things I try to always say to the girls too, is don't let, because you're afraid, keep you from doing things you want to do. Be brave, put yourself out there, try new
Yeah.
things.
You take that approach with what you do at the Y. You're not afraid to try new things, to explore. Does that excite you that really you can do whatever you want to do? You can bring in, a program and try something? Because some people are very afraid
And
to
if
say,
it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing, too, that I always say, because I feel like, when you look back on your youth, things I didn't try because I was afraid. And I said, girls, don't wait till you're 40 to figure out
Yes.
that you can do, or boys, that, well, somebody might laugh at me,
Yeah.
or what if I'm not good? And, it's like, don't wait until you're that age to put yourself out. I'm always willing to, if I want to dance, I'm going to dance. If I
Right.
want to, try to do that push-up, even if I fail, I'm going to try and do that push-up. Or
volunteer to be a chaperone at one of the dances, and you'll see Ashleigh dancing.
But
Yeah.
that's my biggest thing is don't let your fears keep you from doing things that you want to try because you're afraid somebody might look at you funny. And the big thing I always tell kids too is people are so focused on themselves and how they're
Yes.
doing, they're not paying attention to.
Yep.
I always say when you take a Zumba class or yoga or whatever, nobody's paying attention to you. You're trying to remember the steps. You're trying to get the pose. They're not worried about what you're doing. So you do you. You take care of you, and you live your life and be your best self.
Yeah. Excited for the fall activities and the winter months
Always.
too? Okay.
Always. We're always excited about new things that are going on, and I've got a great staff with Amy, Becky, and Lacey, Jamie, that we just try new things and have a lot of fun and a lot of support through our board and longtime friends of the YWCA as well.
Yeah, those have to be fun staff meetings, just to pitch ideas and just have those discussions.
What we're doing, yeah. I'd say Amy and I have a lot of, she does here and then I go there and we go
yeah.
back and forth. I will say definitely trying to bring back, though, a lot of those middle school dances. If we can get kids to come, we'll host them. Absolutely, we'll host them. If they'll come, we'll be there and we'll do those dances for... we had a great turnout with our 4th, 5th, and 6th grade attempts, and as well as our 6th, 7th, and 8th. The 6th graders kind of get in that in-between group, of where they're at. But, definitely loved seeing kids at those events. And So, fall, we're planning it, that we'll be doing, some homecoming kind of things for younger kids as well.
That's a long time tradition too, those dances.
They are. Are you?
I went to the dances.
Did you go?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure because you're young, but but definitely I spent my middle school. Then it was junior high.
Yeah, mine
Actually,
was
there's a
junior
reason
high,
they
too.
came to an end.
Yeah. Right.
But it is funny because kids will say, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" And I'm like, "We're not doing that."
That's great.
Yeah.
It's like, don't ask me
Ashleigh.
for the Wi-Fi password when you come to the dance.
Go dance and
go
enjoy
dance.
yourself.
You're here for a couple hours.
Socialize.
Just let's socialize. You don't need to be on your phone. There's 100 kids here. Let's dance and have fun. Forget
Yep.
about your Wi-Fi password for
a couple hours.
For a couple hours. So that's what I really like is just, and they dance.
Yeah.
They dance. They have fun.
They get down, huh?
Yeah, they do.
It's amazing what happens when you put the phone down, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
it's
It
true.
really is.
And we're running out of time, but it'd be interesting to know how social media plays a role in the youth today, and as you're saying, Ashleigh, to get them to put that down and to go and play, sports, or to go to an event that you're hosting or cheerleading camp or whatever it is, and maybe next month we can get into that a little bit. But it's social media is one of those things where it's like it's great for some things, and then there's this whole other side.
You're
to
missing this whole other part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ashleigh, if folks have any questions, want to get involved or help out somehow, how do they get a hold of you?
Always like us on Facebook. I'm not as savvy with Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I need to hook myself up with a younger person who can get me more savvy that way. But I feel like I'm pretty responsive if you message us on Facebook. You can always give us a call or shoot us an email. We've got our website, which is ywca.titusville.org.
All right, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Ashley.
Bye-bye.